Hi everyone, today I'm talking about Whale Riders, which is a 2021 release board game designed by Reiner Knizia and published by Grail Games. This one takes about 45 minutes to play and accommodates 2 to 6 players. Now the artwork of this game is absolutely gorgeous, as you can tell from this amazing cover. Vincent Dutrait artwork, absolutely incredible, and he has a real signature style which I adore. So the game takes place on this almost half board here. It's kind of half your size of a normal board. And it's a rather simple game about trying to collect these different types of goods, trying to cash in contracts or complete contracts to get pearls. And at the end of the game, the person with the most pearls is going to be the winner. The game is going to be triggered when all of these pearls have been purchased from this starting row here. So a player's action or a turn is going to consist of 2 actions, and you can do any combinations of 2 actions, doing the same one twice or 2 different ones, and there's 5 total actions which you can do. So the first thing you can do is to move your whale piece to the next location, so that would be 1 action, or 2 actions to go to another one. Another action would be to purchase one of these goods here, paying the cost. So the first one's going to be free, but the further down the row it goes, you are going to end up paying more. But as soon as you've kind of bought one, at the end of the turn, they're going to shimmy down, making things cheaper, as with a lot of these style of games. Another action you can do is to kind of discard your hand of contracts to get a new set. The other action you can do is to cash in a number of contracts, and you can cash in as many as you want for a single action. And they kind of come in 3 different types here. So you've got this one here, which needs a very particular order. So you need these 2 and these 2. And to do that, you're going to get 3 points at the end of the game and 2 coins, which is going to let you buy new stuff as you go throughout the game. You've got these ones here that require 6 of any type of good. And these ones here that require like 5 of any type of tile, or 5 of any tile really. So you've got a broad scope here. So these are going to fluctuate in difficulty. You've got some really difficult ones that are quite niche, but they're going to give you more points in respect of that. So that's pretty much it. The final action you can do is to simply take one of these coins and add it to your bank. So that's going to be how the game's going to play out. You're going to keep taking turns until, as I said, you get back to the port here. So once you get to the end, you'll go back to the sun area, which will put you in this spot here where you can buy these pearls, paying a number of coins. So as you can see, the 3 pearls is going to cost you initially 7, but with these other spots as well, as soon as you buy one, it will slide down, getting cheaper for not only yourself, but the other players as well. So that's going to be how the game's going to play out. It's pretty simple, as you can probably tell. There is an additional thing in this game where if you draw one of these kind of storm tiles, then they're going to almost act as blockers and basically take one of these spots like as it would normally, but naturally you can't choose to buy from those spots. And so that's going to be the game. So as you can say, it's very, if you're familiar with Reiner Knizia games, this one is pretty much what you might expect. It's a family-friendly game, nice and simple, to just 5 actions and using any combination of those 2. There is a few different wrinkles here you can add in if you want to, such as these public objectives, where the first person to complete these is going to get a number of coins or a number of pearls. So for example, the first person to get to the lobster port is going to get 2 points, or the first person to have 3 sets of 3 of these good tiles, then they're going to get 3 coins, or the first person to get 8 coins is going to get 2 points, or 3 completed contracts is going to get 3 points. And there's some different ones here that are left out of the game. Additionally, if you really want to, you can choose to use player powers, which will add a little bit of variability into the game, such as being able to move for free, or your first move action, is free, or a single good counts as a wild. When you take the coin action, you take 2 coins. You can swap the tiles of on a certain row to make things cheaper for yourself. Single tiles are only worth are free for you. You can choose to cash in contracts for one required resource fewer, and so on. You have a larger hand of cards, and this one here, I don't even know what that one does. So that's going to be pretty much everything the game has to offer. Recently I found myself looking for games that I can play with anybody, that are good looking, that are inviting, and this game has that. And to be honest, it almost is what I expected. This game isn't rocket science. As I said earlier, if you're familiar with Knizia games, this one does have a lot of his tropes. Very simple, clean mechanisms, but with some decent choices. Especially in this one where particular goods become very inviting to you, but you're going to have to waste your turns getting up to those points by just simply moving. So you want to get ahead of other people, not only to get the resources you want, because you might have a bargain. For example, here, when you get to this lobster spot, in this particular setup, you have a lot of really good or good inviting offers here to be taken, just as a 2 pearls for free. So you've got that incentive of going faster, but you can just choose to sit and maybe farm from a certain spot as well if you like what's being offered. You've also got the aspect of constantly wanting to go back to here, so you can cash in your money to buy pure points. So decision-wise, there is quite a lot here. There's good incentives. There's some good, dangling that carrot in front of you, trying to beat other players because you don't want them to take the spots that you want for yourself. So in terms of meaningful decisions, it has enough going on here. Of course, you're building towards contracts, trying to fulfill those. So everyone's doing their own thing, but bearing in mind that things can be snatched and will be snatched if you aren't wary of what other people are doing. So yeah, a nice amount of decision making here, and mechanically extremely smooth. You're not going to be sat here deliberating your moves. They're all pretty intuitive and quite snappy. You're not going to be, as I said, bogged down and racking your brain about which decisions you're going to make, because, as I said, just simply a simple combination of 2 of those 5 actions, which is really nice for a game of this weighting anyway. Time investment. So the box does say the game takes 45 minutes. I would argue you could probably get that down to about 30 minutes. I suppose at the higher player count, that 6-player mark, it probably is more likely to take 45 minutes. But with maybe 4 or fewer players, more around that 30-minute mark, which is nice. Uptime is fantastic. Next to no waiting around. Nice, snappy, quick turns, which is what you want from a game like this. Replayability, there is mixed feelings about this one. There's not a lot of things to do here. It is pretty much rinse and repeat. Keep trying to collect things to fulfill your contracts. But it does have tactical decisions which will keep you on your toes. As I said, you've got the ability to give yourself different player powers from game to game. You've got the public objectives which can spice things up a little bit. So there is that. It's a 30-minute game that you can get to the table easily, which often doesn't. You're not so reliant on it being so replayable, at least in terms of its variability and things like that, because you want a game like this to be accessible and familiar. Interaction, yeah, there's some interaction in terms of people trying to beat you to certain spots, and of course simply competing for the points. But it's not a hugely interactive game. This one, I like these public objectives because they do add another wrinkle of interaction, which you have to bear in mind, and it'll give you kind of an initial thing to go for when you're straight out the gates, really. So I do quite like that, and it adds a little bit more to something more to work towards. Aesthetically, this game is absolutely stunning. I love the way this looks. The kind of icebergs here, or the icy landscape, the blues used. You've got the kind of windrows. It just looks absolutely amazing without even trying too hard. I think Vincent, as I said in the kind of intro, Vincent Dutrait is just an amazing artist whose signature style, I just think it fits board gaming so well. It's like realistic but cartoony. It's just really colourful and vibrant and just so inviting, and I absolutely adore the way this game looks. I think it looks fantastic. Components themselves are all high quality as well. The tiles are all really nice. The board's nice. You get this very nice bag where you can keep all your tiles and keep drawing them out to replenish the board. The coins are good. All the tiles are good. So yeah, no complaints whatsoever with the components. I think these particular player pieces are Kickstarter exclusive. I could be wrong on that, but if you buy the retail version, you probably won't get these ones, but you will get these cardboard standees, which are still really nicely illustrated, but they're wooden rather than they're cardboard rather than wooden. But yeah, production wise, fantastic. 2 thumbs up from me. Theme, yeah, I mean the theme's pretty out there, but it works. The idea of riding these whales down the coast, trying to collect these different resources. Absolutely fine. It doesn't need to work really. It's different, and I think the look of the game is more kind of harmonious with the theme. And I'm glad they went for this because it does look so good, and it looks different. I can't really think of any other games that look quite like this. And if you put this game in the lineup, I think, oh, that's Whale Riders. You can instantly kind of identify what this game is, which I really like. And setup and teardown time, setup is really a breeze, really. Just lay out the tiles. There is a few different setup restrictions where you can't have the real juicy tiles, at least initially. Like, for example, you can't have all the 3s starting off, and you can't have the pearls, or these double pearls, or these double crystals, which are wilds. So a small setup tweak there, but other than that, it's just simply just put these tiles out, give each player a few cards, and you are good to play. So not going to be an issue in terms of getting this one to the table. Sense of progression, not very much the same kind of vibe from start to finish. Yeah, I suppose the incentive of getting these tiles is going to build because they're going to get cheaper, at least to buy the pearls. So yeah, it has an okay sense of progression, really. Not the best, and it pretty much is the same vibe from start to finish. But again, with a game like this, I don't think that's too much of an issue. You're not playing a 2-hour game here where you're doing the same thing from start to finish. This is simply a 30-minute simple filler game, really, or at least a family weight game. So not too much of an issue there. Scalability, I would probably rather play this at that 3 or 4 player mark. I don't think I'd play this at 2, simply because it might be a little bit too open. I think it does kind of peak well and kind of hit a nice sweet spot at that 3 or 4 player mark. Because you have got the competition there and it shines through a bit stronger. I don't think I would be a straight up no in playing this at 5 or 6 players, because it's nice to have a game like this that can support that many people, because not many of them can. So yeah, no complaints there, really. And I would happily play this at any player count, but as I said, I would tend to lean towards that 3 or 4 player mark, at least as a preference. And comparison-wise, there is a lot of these, I suppose, collect and fulfill contract games. This one does have a very Knizian feel to it, as you can probably tell if you're familiar with his games. But the purity of this one is nice. There is nothing new, innovative here, really. But that's not particularly negative. It does what it does well, and I think it does what it needs to do. So yeah, overall, I like Whale Riders. I think it's lovely, really pleasant experience. As I said, I have been looking for a real accessible game that I can maybe introduce to my girlfriend, maybe to try something a bit different, because we tend to go to the same type of games. But this one, it's going to be something I'm going to try. I think the look of it is certainly not going to hurt in terms of getting this one to the table. People are going to enjoy looking at this one and playing with this one. Going to have some player ranks as well. If you do really want a particular good, someone's going to jump ahead of you and snatch it. That shines through nicely. So you've got some decent decisions here, while still being very compact and certainly not overwhelming. Simple contract fulfillment, but with that incentive of wanting to do you travel further and get the juicy goods, or do you stay where you are and hope that nobody gets them before you do. So yeah, overall a nice experience. Certainly a strong family weight game that I'd definitely recommend to people with maybe children, or play a lot of family games. Yeah, this one is going to be a hit, I'm sure. So that concludes my thoughts on Whale Riders. So yeah, try this one out if it appeals to you. If you have enjoyed this review, please hit like and subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos too. For everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.